Just when everyone thought Toyota was quiet, it made the biggest attack, and now everything is about to change. While the rest of the companies in the industry were lost in show-offs and stage lights, there was one company that was quietly building something that has now completely shaken up the market. No leaks, no events, but now everything is out. Toyota's CEO has suddenly made a statement that has increased the heartbeat of the entire auto industry. This was not a normal announcement. It was a direct warning. Our new dynamic force engine will destroy the competition. According to sources, this engine has been designed in such a way that it not only gives new life to hybrids, but also leaves behind the limitations of conventional engines. This is the reason why everyone's eyes are now turned towards Toyota, from Tesla to Ford and BYD. So, what is this dynamic force engine? What is it in it that makes it the most aggressive move in Toyota's history? And why is there an atmosphere of restlessness in the boardrooms of other companies at this time? Let's unravel this suspense. But before that, if you also want to stay at the forefront of the world of auto technology, then do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that every new wave of technology reaches you first. Before we talk about that engine, let's understand a little about Toyota. Why this company is not giving up the gasoline engine even while running in the electric race. When the whole world is running towards EVs, when every company is in a race to connect its next car with battery and motor, Toyota is one name that has surprised everyone. It is not only maintaining its old gasoline engines, but has also brought a new dynamic force engine. The question arises, when Tesla, BYD, Ford, and other auto giants are running fast in the EV race, then why is Toyota still making traditional engines? Actually, the thinking behind Toyota is not just about today's trend, but about the coming decades. Toyota knows that EV is a progressive change at the moment, but this change is not the same for everyone. Many big markets like India, Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East are still behind in terms of EV infrastructure. Here, charging stations, stable power supply, and logistics of EV batteries are still a challenge. In such a situation, Toyota believes that by focusing only on EVs, it will ignore crores of consumers. Toyota has a special strategy, a multi-pathway strategy. This means that the company believes that every market has its own needs and a single solution does not fit everywhere. Under this thinking, Toyota has worked on EVs, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and hydrogen, all four. The dynamic force engine is a part of this thinking. This engine has been designed to give more power with less fuel, less pollution, and longer life. That is, Toyota is targeting those customers who cannot afford EVs but want better mileage and modern technology. Apart from this, Toyota's biggest strength is its trust and long-term value. People know that Toyota's vehicles run for years and their engines never fail easily. This belief encourages Toyota to continue investing in traditional technology. Also, Toyota's hybrid technology, such as the Prius, has shown that a mix of petrol and electric power can be a great solution, especially in countries where EV charging is still a distant dream. Toyota's engineers also understand that petrol engines can be made as efficient as EVs with the right technology. The dynamic force engine is an example of this, where airflow, compression ratio, and heat management have been modified to increase performance while reducing environmental impact. Toyota wants to prove that thinking EVs are the only future is limited thinking, and that smart engine technology can also compete with the market in the future. Toyota's engine plan. Toyota believes that not only EVs are the future, but petrol engines also have a lot of room for improvement. With this thinking, Toyota has launched its dynamic force engines, which have been made by breaking away from the old thinking. These are not minor updates, but are part of Toyota's global design system called TNGA, which makes vehicles more durable, better fuel efficient, and easier to manufacture. While other companies are engaged in becoming fully electric, Toyota believes that both types of technology, petrol and electric, should run together. The company's CEO clearly says that these new engines are part of their larger strategy. Their aim is to give more performance with less fuel, less pollution, and a more reliable experience. These engines can also run on fuels like ethanol or hydrogen, which also opens up options. Toyota understands that the needs of every country are different. In some places, there is a lack of electric charging points, and in some places, electricity is not reliable. In such a situation, fuel engines prove to be the best there. That's why the company is building engines that not only meet environmental standards, but are also cheaper to manufacture. These engines are designed using Toyota's TNGA technology, which allows the same engine to be used in multiple vehicles. This not only saves time and money in manufacturing, but the same engine can be fitted in everything from small cars to large SUVs. Engineers don't have to start from scratch every time, allowing them to focus on improving engine quality. This new approach not only allows Toyota to update vehicles quickly, but also, when fuels change in the future, such as ethanol or hydrogen, the company will not have to make major changes. Dynamic force engines don't just focus on power or speed, but are designed to save more fuel and cause less pollution. These engines are unique in that they convert fuel directly into power rather than wasting it in heat. The piston stroke is long, and the fuel injection technology is advanced. Special cooling systems, such as electric water pumps and temperature control technology, have been installed to make the engine last longer and perform well in all weather conditions. Toyota's engine series has 3 variants: a 3-cylinder for small cars, a 4-cylinder for regular cars, and a V6 for bigger and more powerful vehicles. Each engine is designed to be compatible with hybrid systems, meaning the company can use these engines in both petrol and hybrids if it wants. They are manufactured in Toyota's international factory network. The design is such that it can be manufactured in any country by adding local parts. The advantage of this is that the cost is low, and if a country requires a specific fuel, such as ethanol, the company can make the engine accordingly without changing the entire factory. Toyota's dynamic force engine is not just a new engine. It is a thought, a technological step that can redefine the entire internal combustion engine, ICE, industry in the times to come. Now let's talk about what is so special in this engine that makes it different from all the rest. First of all, let's talk about thermal efficiency. In a conventional engine, thermal efficiency, i.e., the ability to convert fuel into energy, is between 25 to 30%. This means that whatever fuel we put in, a large part of it is wasted in the form of heat, and very little part is actually used to run the car. But Toyota's dynamic force engine has taken this figure to more than 40%. This is such a big leap that it is being considered a milestone in the auto industry. Now, the question arises, how did Toyota do this? There are many engineering marvels hidden behind this. The first is its stroke-to-bore ratio. In a conventional engine, the pistons don't have long enough movement, which prevents the fuel from burning completely. But the dynamic force engine has a longer piston stroke and a smaller bore, giving the fuel more time and space to burn. That translates to more power and less waste. Another big change is the high compression ratio. While in a conventional engine, the ratio is 10:1 or less, in the dynamic force engine, it reaches 13:1. This means the air-fuel mixture is compressed more, producing more energy when it burns. But high compression can also cause the engine to run hotter, and that's why Toyota has added another advanced feature, the variable cooling system. This cooling system has an electric water pump that adjusts cooling according to the temperature. It prevents the engine from overheating and maintains the perfect temperature so that there is no compromise in performance and efficiency. Also, it has a multi-hole direct fuel injection system, which sends fuel to the cylinder so cleanly that the burning process becomes even cleaner and more powerful. Now the question arises, is this engine only for hybrid cars? Absolutely not. The dynamic force engine is designed for both hybrid and non-hybrid segments. This means that this engine not only performs well in hybrid cars, but it is equally powerful for conventional petrol vehicles. This gives Toyota the advantage that it can also be used in countries around the world where the infrastructure for hybrids or EVs is not very strong yet. The design of this engine is so flexible that it can also be adjusted for alternative fuels like ethanol and hydrogen. That is, even if the fuel trends change in the future, this engine will continue to work without the need for updates. This is why Toyota calls it a future-ready engine. Will the dynamic force engine compete with EVs as well? In the last few years, the whole world was saying in one voice, the future is electric. Car companies were competing on batteries and range, governments were making EV policies, and people were starting to distance themselves from petrol and diesel. First of all, why did people rush towards EVs? Because they wanted a clean, less expensive, and sustainable option. Petrol and diesel were getting expensive, engines were polluting, and new promises were being made in battery technology every day. But there are many challenges with EVs that common people do not talk about. Lack of charging infrastructure, long charging time of the battery, range drop in cold or hot weather, and most importantly, expensive price. Now the dynamic force engine that Toyota has launched has given such an answer to all these challenges that it forces the customer to think. Imagine if there is a car that is as efficient as an EV but runs continuously without worrying about charging, would you still buy an EV? Toyota's dynamic force engine comes with hybrid technology, meaning this engine is a combination of the power of both fuel and electric, and this is what makes it more flexible than an EV. The thermal efficiency of this engine is more than 40%, which has not been seen in any common fuel engine till now. This means less fuel cost, more mileage, and more power, all three together. When you use a dynamic force engine in a hybrid car, that engine works at a very low RPM, and the electric motor drives the car most of the time in city driving. That means fuel savings, and the engine is activated only when needed, and that too with such smart technology that there is neither much noise nor pollution. Now the question is, can the dynamic force engine force an EV to stop? The simple answer is yes to some extent, because Toyota has brought to parity the key strengths of EVs, low running cost and low pollution, through hybrids, and that too at a time when EVs are still expensive and charging networks are not available everywhere. The effect of Toyota's move will be that many customers, especially in developing countries, will prefer hybrids before switching to full EVs, because hybrids give them a middle ground. no range anxiety, an EV-like feel, and the reliability of petrol. Also, another feature of the dynamic force engine is its versatility. It can run not only on petrol, but also on alternative fuels like ethanol and hydrogen. This means that in the future, this engine can easily adjust to changing fuel technologies, whereas EVs will have to rework new batteries, new charging, and the entire supply chain. When Toyota's CEO said that this engine will destroy the competition, he wasn't just talking about ICE companies. The statement was also an open challenge to EV manufacturers, especially to companies like Tesla and BYD, who are leading the EV segment. EVs still have a future, no doubt about that, but the dynamic force engine shows that electric is not the only option for customers who travel long distances, whose cities don't have charging infrastructure, or who can't afford an EV. Toyota has created an option that is extremely practical, affordable, and reliable. So, yes, EVs can't be completely eliminated, but the dynamic force engine has turned it into an important question. Do we have to buy an EV at all, or is there a smarter option? Now, the R&D and engineering journey behind this engine. Today, when Toyota's dynamic force engine is making headlines all over the world, it is important to know that this is not a miracle created overnight. Behind it are years of research, the hard work of thousands of engineers, and countless failed experiments. Toyota has always been a company that believes in doing wonders quietly, not in making noise, and the same attitude is visible in the R&D of this engine. If we look back, the foundation of the dynamic force engine was laid in the early 2000s. At that time, the world was slowly becoming aware of the environment, and the consumption of petrol and diesel was becoming a matter of concern. Toyota, which had already surprised people with hybrid models like the Prius, had decided that the next revolution had to start from within the engine itself. This mission was kept confidential, and a dedicated team was formed in Toyota's research centers spread across Japan, America, and Europe. These engineers were given a simple challenge: build an engine that uses less fuel, doesn't harm the environment, and is ready for future fuel types. To do this, Toyota first understood the current limitations of engine design and then began working on every detail that was previously considered fine. The shape of the cylinder, the movement of the piston, the timing of the air-fuel mixture, and the engine's temperature control. Every detail was redesigned. Toyota's research team filed more than 300 patents for this engine. These patents are not limited to the external design or technical terms, but are the result of changes at the micro level that are not usually visible to the public. The spray angle of the fuel injection, the millisecond difference in valve timing, and the sensor technology of the cooling system. To prove this research, Toyota conducted thousands of hours of laboratory testing. Each engine variant was tested in different weather conditions, altitudes, and driving styles, from high-tech labs in Tokyo to the deserts of America. The engine was in conditions where cars would normally fail. The aim was to make the engine not only run fast, but also last in all conditions. In addition, Toyota made a huge investment in computer modeling and simulation for the engine, using machine learning and AI. Every design was first tested digitally, saving both time and money on real prototypes. This also ensured that each generation of engines was better than the previous one. Toyota's engineering team also made sure that this engine was not just made for a specific car. It was integrated with the TNGA platform so that it could be easily used in cars of different sizes, be it a compact hatchback or a heavy SUV. Another unique thing is that the dynamic force engine has been made future fuel-ready. Toyota's R&D team has already worked on how to make this engine fit in if the fuel changes to hydrogen or ethanol tomorrow. That is, it has been designed not just for today, but also for tomorrow. Throughout the process, Toyota's focus was not just on performance, but also on long-term durability and eco-friendly operation. That is why this engine requires less maintenance, and its service life is much longer than other conventional engines. If Toyota is claiming today that the dynamic force engine will beat the competition, then it is not just marketing, it is a claim based on years of hard work, data, and hundreds of failed experiments, and this is what makes this engine different from the rest. It is not just a new technology, but a sample of Toyota's engineering that will be remembered for decades. What impact will this engine have on the global auto market? When Toyota introduced the dynamic force engine to the world, it wasn't just a new engine launch. It was a sign that Toyota is now ready to dominate the global auto market again. At a time when electric vehicles were being considered the future, Toyota introduced an engine that challenges conventional thinking, and that too with technological changes that match the regulations and requirements around the world. Now, the question arises, will this engine really survive in countries with strict emission regulations like the US, Europe, and Japan? The answer is yes, and very strongly. The dynamic force engine is designed in such a way that it emits very low CO2 and nitrogen oxide, NOx. Its thermal efficiency is more than 40%, which makes it much more fuel efficient and environmentally friendly than conventional engines. In countries like the US, where CAFE corporate average fuel economy norms are getting stricter every year, or in Europe, where regulations like Euro 7 are coming in, this Toyota engine fits in easily. Furthermore, the dynamic force engine is designed to support multi-fuel options such as ethanol, hydrogen, and future biofuels. This means that even if conventional petrol is banned in a country, Toyota will be able to run these engines on alternative fuels. Now, can this make Toyota the king of engine technology again? Toyota was once the most trusted name for engine durability and performance across the world, but as the EV trend grew, some felt that Toyota was left behind. But the dynamic force engine has broken that myth. It's not just a new engine, it's a declaration that Toyota is not lagging behind in technology, but is at the forefront, just beating its own time. And this attack is further strengthened by Toyota's manufacturing strategy. Toyota has made the TNGA, Toyota New Global Architecture, platform one of the world's most efficient auto production systems. TNGA means that the same engine or part can be used in many different vehicles without having to change the entire design again and again. So, adding the dynamic force engine to the TNGA platform means that Toyota can install it in every vehicle, from a small sedan to a large SUV. This reduces both development time and cost drastically. This is the reason why Toyota's vehicles will be even more technologically advanced in the future, but the price can be kept low. The company's engineers have already said that in the next 5 years, Toyota can introduce a car that can use solid-state batteries, dynamic force engines, and hydrogen. If this proves to be true, Toyota will not only change the rules of the auto industry, but will give a new face to technology itself. In the end, it would not be wrong to say that Toyota's next big thing will not be just a car, but a whole new idea. And when it comes, other companies will probably have to return to the starting line of the race once again. If you want to be the first to know more technology insights like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. because the future starts.